Thank you to Sour Sweet Cube 20 for their generous donation on Patreon. If you'd like to join them in their generosity, the link to my Patreon page is in the description.
Walking into the hospital waiting room, I am met by the same familiar shiver running up my back. Whether it's from the air-conditioned windscreen on the door or my hatred for the place, I can't really tell. Every day, my instinct is to flee kicks my instinct to flee kicks into overdrive. I still force myself to step in and sit down. When I look around, I notice that none of the usual people are up here. Guess it makes sense. Saya-san and Keisuke-san are away, and Akiyoshi-kun is probably either not here yet or already upstairs with Rutherford-san. Shoichi-san, my guess is he's busy with his work as the student council president. He skipped for the first few days, but I don't think that's easy for him to. I don't think that it's that easy to take that much time away. Jesus. Keisuke-san joked that the council would crumble without him around, which definitely scares me a bit to think of. First thing I need to do as soon as I walk in is head to the bathroom and get changed in a booth in there. Other people might be fine with it, but I hate how stuffy and tight the school uniform is. Plus, I would rather not be recognized as a student of Minamikawa. Saitama might not be as small as the town I lived in last, but I got used to gossip traveling really fast across all circles there. If something happened, it would only take 1 or 2 days at most for everyone to know about it. So the fewer people that can talk about the fat tiger in Minamikawa uniform walking around the hospital every day of the week, the better. Then again, it might just be me worrying too much. Wouldn't be the first time. Once I'm done and thoroughly clean, I head to the front desk, still seeing no sign of Shuichi-san. Excuse me, Kikawa-san? I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but at this point, I've been here often enough that I recognize most of the nurses, and most of them know me as well. Kikawa-san is a middle-aged weasel that used to be a real hard-ass on me whenever I complained about not liking my meds.
Oh dear, Kobayashi-kun, I've heard that you've been dropping by to see a friend of yours. I would say it's good to see you, but it seems circumstances aren't the best.
Yeah, I didn't know you'd changed from night shift.
My niece needed someone to help babysit at night since her and her husband also work in the hospital, so I changed to an earlier shift.
Isn't that super tiring? Kikawa-san giggles, shrugging at me with the same kind of proud smile that my mom gives me sometimes.
I'm used to it. I'm not on shift every day of the week. It works out.
I see. But, well, I know there isn't much hope in asking this, but I was wondering if there was any change in Rutherford Hayes' order to not take any visitors.
I can check for you. Give me a second.
Oh, sorry, I could have sworn said it was a male, but anyway. She pulls out a tablet, typing something in it and scrolling through something. Honestly, I'm not the best at computers, so I'm not even sure how that works. I only have an old feature phone.
I'm sorry, Kobayashi-kun. The only one allowed in is his little brother.
Yeah, I figured. Any information on when he'll be discharged? The doctor said he wouldn't stay in the hospital for long after the surgery.
You know I can't tell you that. You'd have to get the information from him or one of his family members.
Right. Worth a shot. Thank you, Kikawa-san. I'll just stay in the waiting room. If Akiyoshi-kun looks for any of us, tell him I'm already downstairs.
Oh yes, the little brother came out about half an hour ago. I will let him know.
Thanks. Nothing much to do than sit around and wait, I guess. Wonder how long it'll take Shuichi-san to arrive. Part of me hopes it'll still be a while. I don't like that part.
A few hours later.
This really stinks. Being here is already bad on a good day. Being here all by myself for this long. I'm bored. And at the same time, I feel terrible for feeling bored. Carp again. I don't like how my mind gets sometimes. I should have brought something to distract myself while I waited. Even homework would be fine by now. Wow, I really am desperate. I know I said Akiyoshi-kun could come downstairs if he wanted to talk to any of us, but I really wish he had come. While I'm busy leaning my head back and staring at the ceiling, I feel a presence approaching, followed by something big sitting on the chair next to me. Oh god, it's the Shoichi-san.
Sorry, did I scare you?
Ah, Shoichi-san!
Yeah, it's me.
Sorry, I shouldn't have been so surprised. I mean, I expected you to show up at some point. I just...
Lost track of time?
Something like that, yeah. Shuichi-san drums his fingers on the top of his thighs, looking down at the floor with his big, sparkling green eyes. This isn't the first time I catch myself thinking this, but Shuichi-san's eyes are very impressive. I mean, he's very expressive in general, but mostly his eyes. It's really easy for me to get a read on him and how he's feeling. I feel a bit dirty for saying that. Again, the only person in this group that really manages to surprise me often is Saya-san. I really can't tell how she's feeling at all. Keisuke-san has his moments too, with him being a lot more guarded. But even then, he does have a few tiny ticks on his face whenever something happens that could give me a pretty good idea. Saya-san, though, she can say something absolutely scary with the kindest smile on her face, or look completely ticked off and say something nice. Half the time, she doesn't look like she's feeling what she's actually feeling. The other half, even though she does act like part of how she looks, it comes out of nowhere. It comes so out of nowhere that I can't anticipate it at all. I was scared of speaking up and saying the wrong thing for the first month of meeting her, since I had no idea what might set her off or not. Things I was sure would bomb were laughed off like they were a joke. Other things I thought were totally harmless ended up annoying her. I'm too afraid to even change the way I refer to her, which is kind of pathetic. I'm kind of pathetic. The silence feels so suffocating. I feel more uneasy now than I did when I was alone in here. Oh boy, Shuichi doesn't look too happy either. I don't even say to Shuichi-san when the two of us are alone together, "Sorry, I tried to steal Rutherford-san." That probably wouldn't go over too well. I mean, I know I'm technically in the clear, but I also knew I was stepping on his toes from the start. I had strong suspicions for a while now, but it was pretty much confirmed during midterm week. So I already had some idea how he'd react to me confessing to Rutherford-san. And I already knew for sure how he'd feel about me continuing to try and get in Rutherford-san's good graces after that. I told myself I was fine with using every underhanded tactic I could to improve my chances. It still feels really awkward being alone with Shuichi-san knowing that. You're not wearing your uniform.
What kind of question is that? Neither are you.
Oh, right. That's a good point. Pain! Everything about this is pain! I didn't want people to be able to know what school I'm from, in case the word gets out that I've been in the hospital every day for the past week and people in school hear about it. I got changed in the bathroom.
Is that because you don't want them to know about Rutherford, or because you don't want them to suspect about your heart?
Oh, I know you know about it, but you don't have to throw it in my face so suddenly like that. I don't want them to know about Rutherford-san.
Right. Of course. Just checking.
That felt mean.
I didn't get changed in the bathroom, though. No way I'd do that.
Really? Why not?
No. Public bathrooms are gross.
You think so? These are fine. They're cleaned pretty often and all.
Dad wanted me to stop by the house first anyway, so I got changed there.
You did? How come?
He bought me a rare manga I've been looking for a while now. It was the only volume missing before I could complete my collection. He wanted me to drop by the house and be surprised when I saw it.
Oh, that's so cool. What manga was it? Did he come? And how come he did it anyway? Was it a special edition or?
Okay, we're getting a bit too excited here. One question at a time, please.
Oh, right. I kind of lost it for a bit there, not gonna lie. I tend to play these up so people think of me as more clueless and airheaded than I really am. I still get a few genuine ones every now and again. It's kind of neat.
You got me the 8th volume of Samurai Lama Z. Oh, Dragon Ball Z, Samurai Lama Z, okay. I have 48 of the 49 volumes in the original Tankobon printing, but could never find the 8.
I know that one. It's kind of old. Used to read it when I was a kid.
Yeah, I love the anime, so I started buying the manga volumes that I could find when I was in junior high. It was pretty hard to find them. As for why he did it, he noticed I'd been down lately. Plus, he knows about Rutherford's accident. He's been extra lenient with me lately, buying me my favorite food, letting me back off on some of my schoolwork. Now he bought me a gift. This does not sound like the Haruki-san or Haruki-san? I don't know. The fucking dad.
Really? I thought he was so strict to you all the time. Didn't think he'd do that. At least from the way you guys talk about him.
He's strict, but he's not heartless, you know.
Right. Sorry. Was I rude on accident? That's bad.
Still, it made me happy. It was nice of him. Last time he got me a manga was when he came back from his trip to Taiwan.
Was that when you and Rutherford-san threw that welcoming party for him a while ago?
Yeah. It's a shame that everyone had to leave while I went to the market to restock, but the party was still a success. He was a bit cranky and critical, but he gave me a bunch of souvenirs the next morning.
From what I was told, I don't think the party was as much of a success as you seem to think it was. But silence is king here, so I'll keep my trap shut. I guess it makes sense why you're a little later than usual today.
Yeah. Sorry for leaving you alone in here so long. I know it can't have been easy for you.
It's all right.
And also, well, I'm sorry I never showed up earlier today. For lunch, I mean.
Ah, he was thinking about that? That's all right. We might not be fighting, but that doesn't mean things aren't still awkward.
Huh?
I mean, you still don't like me, right? Because I'm trying to steal Rutherford-san away from you.
That's... Oh, okay. That is oddly blunt of Jun to have said that. Ah, there you guys are, someone says. Oh, there's the... Oh, God, okay, my throat's gonna... I gotta drink. The nurse told me a few hours ago that you were already here. But I didn't know if Shoichi had arrived too. Aki-kun, did something happen? Yeah.
The little Shiba nods with a lot of energy, his lips trembling with excitement.
The doctor did a checkup on Nii-chan earlier and said his recovery is going really well. They said he might be discharged tonight.
Really?
Yeah. They're gonna take him for a few more tests, an x-ray, and some other stuff just to make sure. After that, if everything checks out, they'll let him go home. Nii-chan also said he'll be ready to have guests over once he's back from the test, so you guys can go wait by the corridors upstairs if you want. It'll be an hour or so, but I know you guys are anxious to see him. Of course. We're going straight up. Is it the same room as last time? Yep. I'm gonna step outside for a bit to call Mom and let her know. She'll probably want to talk my ear off, so I don't want to disturb the other patients. I'll catch up to you in a bit.
Okay! Shoichi and I both share a look, mutually nodding at each other in shared understanding. It's finally here. We'll finally be able to see Rutherford-san again. Mizuguchi-san and Keisuke-san. I'm sorry you guys are gonna miss this. Barely able to contain my excitement, I jogged to the elevator alongside Shoichi-san, both of us wanting to get to the inpatient floor as soon as possible. To get to him.
Yeah, amazing. It looks exactly the same.
Here it is, Rutherford-san's floor. Somehow a tiny little part of me is aware that I didn't feel the same unpleasantness as I usually feel when I walk to this floor. felt like a jinx, logging into my mind and thinking about it. After all, trying not to think about something is the same as thinking about it. But the sensation of tension growing inside me left my entire body tingling. A sensation that I couldn't call either good or bad. Just an overwhelming sense of anticipation threatening to devour me from the insides. More intense than anything I felt all week. We're supposed to wait for a full hour at least before we can see him? Like this? No way! We rush to his room, hoping that we can get at least a glimpse of him when he gets transferred to the examination rooms. But we seem to be too late, as the room is empty when we arrive.
Figures we missed him. Guess we'll have to wait that whole hour after all. Sucks.
You know, I was thinking the same thing.
No kidding.
Shoichi-san leans his back against the wall, looking me up and down.
Hey, Kobayashi.
Yeah?
I wasn't going to say anything before because, well, I couldn't think of a way to bring it up, but since you already touched on the subject yourself a little bit ago, I feel like I can finally say we need to talk. Oh, his fucking eyes. Look at his fucking eyes, man. Look at the difference. They're like, they're lit up and then they go dark. Suddenly, it felt like a shiver ran its way down my body. From the base of my neck to the bottom of my feet, every hair in my body stood at attention, looking up from the corner of my eyes at the other guy staring me down intensely. The cheerful atmosphere from before gets instantly shattered into a million pieces. For the first time in ages, I become incredibly aware of just how much bigger and stronger than me Shoichi is. It's weird. The sense of danger was completely lacking in me just last week. Now, though, all I can think about is how no one is here to help me if things turn ugly. One wrong move and it's instant game over. That's the feeling that I get. Oh, I guess I did say something a bit weird before Akiyoshi-san interrupted us. Kind of, at least. Come on, not when we're this close. If you're gonna teach me a lesson or get rid of me, at least do it after I've gotten the chance to talk to Rutherford-san again. That thing you said about me not liking you. I suppose that's halfway correct.
Yeah, I suspected as much.
But... oh, his eyes are back to normal. That doesn't mean that I want it to be the case.
Eh?
Oh, good lord, why is it so dark and grayscale? They're so fucking... oh, this is so uncomfortable. I won't lie. I've been bitter for a while now. Ever since I got the feeling Rutherford was giving you too much attention. And it got worse after I heard of your confession. I mean, come on. The guy might be bright, but he's also denser than a brick wall. Of course he was gonna tell us. And he came to me for advice on how to deal with you of all things. Man, that stung.
I'm sorry.
What are you apologizing for? I didn't say I was blaming you, did I?
But you did say that you don't like me.
I said that was halfway correct. Don't go putting words in my mouth, you hear?
Shoichi-san leaned back on the wall, letting out a long, wistful sigh.
But at the same time, I have to admit, I've been by his side this whole time, yet I always felt like I could never really do anything for him. Rutherford has always been this incredibly bright existence in my life, rushing ahead, all guns blazing with everything he did. I was always afraid of laying a hand on him for fear of breaking that enthusiasm of his. Sorry, that might have come out a bit weird. I don't really know how to explain it.
I cocked my head to the side, trying to make sense of what Shoichi-san was saying to me. For some reason, all of a sudden, he got really chatty. Was it just because of what I said?
My point is, I don't think I was ever someone that was fit to walk side by side with him, you know? All these years, I did my best to catch up to him while pushing away those nagging feelings in the back of my mind. But even when he got into this slump and spent a bunch of years not even caring, I was barely able to reach him a little bit. In reality, I've always been more comfortable watching him from afar.
Even if I wanted to take that step forward, I wouldn't know how to. But you've barely just gotten here, yet somehow you've managed to mesh with him in a way that I never did. It's like you guys are in the same wavelength or something. You're both high-level idiots in your own right. It's a little uncalled for. You think so? Because I really mean it as a compliment. It's just that I was really jealous of how you managed to keep up with Rutherford when you barely even met him. You're just as much of a tenacious dumbass as he is, and watching you going at it, I think he started to remember how he used to be too. Rutherford has been a lot more active lately. For the first time in years, he started to care about the world around him again. At the same time that I was thrilled about it, I was incredibly annoyed that I wasn't the one to get that out of him. So yeah, it's awful. And it hurts to see that you've been getting him to improve so much while I stand by the sidelines like some sort of supporting character. But you know what? At this point, the only one who hasn't realized how infatuated with you Rutherford is Rutherford himself. Oh. I looked down at my feet, a mix of anxiety and embarrassment making my throat tighten, leaving me strained and at a loss for words. I got that feeling too. You're really good to him, you know. Despite our best efforts, neither Saya, Aki-kun, Masaki-san, Keisuke-san, or I have managed to get through to him at all. But you did it like it was so easy. I'm not that good to him. I've been taking advantage of him a lot. This time it was Shoichi-san's turn to cock his head to the side, looking at me as if he wanted a better explanation. Honestly, these feelings have been eating away inside of me for the longest time now. It feels strange that I'm letting them out to Shoichi-san of all people, but right now, I feel like I'll explode if I don't. I've been terrible to him. Rutherford-san is painfully easy to read. And he's so trusting, too. He can never tell when someone is just prodding at his weaknesses to get a rise out of him. Acting like even more of an airhead than I usually am. Playing up the cute card. I could tell right away exactly which parts of me he really liked, and I made sure to exploit them as much as I could. Yeah. Like strategizing for a really tough encounter in a game. Hide away every vulnerability you have and play to the weakness of your enemy. Use everything you know to get the result you want. This whole time I've been playing a part to get Rutherford-san to like me. I knew it was wrong. It's not like all of it was a lie, just greatly exaggerated. But still, at the end of the day, manipulation is manipulation. I just fell for him so bad. I felt like I had to do everything I could to make sure I'd get him. I've been manipulating him this entire time. Also, he'd like me. Also, I'd have a better chance of getting him to fall for me, and whenever I could tell it was working, I'd double down on it. I laughed, trying to hide my own shame and embarrassment. I mean, come on, it's true that I might be more sheltered than most guys, but I'm not a child. No one our age can be that stupid and innocent. Shoichi-san made a noise, lost in thought. Even the smallest movement out of him was enough to make my entire body twitch. How would he react to me saying that? I have no clue. I've gotten so used to studying people and tailoring my attitude to them that at times, I don't even know if I'm being myself or not. I think I've forgotten what it's like to be myself. Is the person I've been showing to them this entire time even close to the real me? Honestly, I can't tell. The fact that I can't tell terrifies me. After all these years, have I completely lost sight of the real me? Would I ever be able to get him back? Would I even know if I did one day get him back? Or am I going to be an imposter, pretending to be the real June for the rest of my life? Those are the kinds of questions that keep me up at night. The kind that I'm too scared to tell even my psychiatrist. Even though I know it's counterproductive, I still can't bring myself to be fully open even with my doctors. It's no wonder I'm such a mess.
Well, what's the harm in that?
Huh? An answer that I never expected to hear. I looked up at the husky with wide open eyes. There, I saw Shoichi-san's smiling face, awkward, vulnerable, and a little bit sad. Still, one of the most genuine smiles I've ever seen from him.
I think everyone plays a part to a certain degree, you know? We show different parts of ourselves to different people. Sometimes we might even play up the theatrics a little bit to get a better response. I think that's just part of what it means to connect with people.
My eyes still wide open, I look back down at my feet, faintly aware that I'm silently mouthing off a repeat of Shoichi-san's words. Different parts of ourselves?
Don't go thinking too hard about it. I doubt my half-assed attempts at philosophy are gonna be much help in the first place. Besides, if it bothers you so much, change it.
Change it?
It's not like you're locked into playing the same part for the rest of your life. People grow and they change. If you feel like the person you've been showing to Rutherford isn't the real you, then do better. You're allowed that. I mean, look at me. I'm giving advice to the guy that is taking away the guy I love. Does it get dumber than that?
Shoichi-san laughs, leaning the back of his head against the wall behind him. How many times is he going to lean against that wall? That's when I noticed the very faintest traces of tears forming on the corner of his eye.
Man, it hurts like hell to admit that I love Rutherford and that he doesn't love me. Even if he knew about my feelings, that wouldn't change. You've already gotten your mitts all over him by now, so I truly have no chance.
Shoichi-san.
But at the same time, I feel like I've been set a little bit free, you know? It hurts, but I'll get over it. All these years, I've always had it in my mind that if he liked men. Well, now I know for sure that he does, and he still doesn't like me back. I feel like I can well and truly move on now. It'll hurt like hell, and it will take a while, but I've got no more excuses to hang on to. So I'll bow out as gracefully as I can. Rutherford is all yours. I wager he'll probably need you now more than ever. You were the one who got him out of his last rut, so I'm sure you'll be able to do it again this time, but man, you're gonna have your work cut out for you. Even on the best of days, the dude is a mess. Oh, this is better. It's brightened up. He's smiling a little. They're both smiling a little. Still a little sad, but it's better. Once again, I laughed. But this time I wasn't trying to laugh any kind of unpleasant feelings, nor did I want to hide anything. Suddenly, it felt like my vision had cleared up, like the world around me had gotten so much brighter. I really was laughing just because I wanted to laugh, nothing more to it. I'd basically beat him over the head with a confession for him to even notice that maybe I liked him. Well, you have me beat on that front, Shoichi-san. I don't think I can say with confidence that it's love yet. You'll get there. Or maybe you won't. Who knows? What matters is that, unlike me, you had the courage to try. And about the manipulation thing, yeah, it's not cool, but on the other hand, Rutherford is such a monumental dumbass that you probably would have gotten nowhere with him if you hadn't. So, by all means, if you know his weaknesses, feel free to poke at them every now and then. If anything, it at least keeps him on his toes. Are you sure about giving me all this encouragement? I just might go snatch Rutherford-san up for myself after all. Like you weren't trying to do that already. My guess is that you'd keep at it even if I told you not to.
You're not wrong about that. I've never been good at sitting still and doing nothing when I felt like something I wanted was in my reach. I've always been the type to work my ass off for what I want. And with Rutherford-san, that just means spending a lot of time with him, getting to know him, and trying to show off my appeal. The thing is, even at the worst of times, none of it has ever been bad. And it never felt like effort. I've always enjoyed all the time I got to spend with him. To me, Rutherford-san really is special. And I'm not ready to let go just yet. Not after getting this far. I will do 1,000 apologies for taking advantage of him. He'll probably be a bit bitter that I'm not quite as stupid and clueless as he thinks I am, but I think he'll still like me despite that. At least, there's the hope. You know, I never thought that I'd get your blessing to pursue Rutherford-san.
And I never thought I'd be giving my blessings to another guy. Least of all, the sneaky one who managed to steal them from right under my nose. Yet, here we are.
And you sure you're okay with it?
Nah, not at all. I'm not okay with it, but I'm gonna be alright. Life goes on, yada yada yada. Couldn't keep holding on to the mental image of what if I dated Rutherford for the rest of my life, could I? We both know I'd never make a move anyway.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you.
Well, so am I. But it's fine. I guess life is like that sometimes. I finally feel like I can start being my own person. Doing things 100% for me, and not because I think Rutherford will like it.
I have to admit, this isn't where I thought this conversation would go when you said we needed to talk.
Is that so? What'd you think I was gonna say?
I thought you were gonna grab me by the collar, push me against the wall, and bash my face in.
What? No way! I'm a pacifist!
Didn't seem like too much of one when you pushed me against the wall just last week.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. I should never have done that, and I would never do it again.
Calm down. Just wanting to make you sweat a little.
Man, I swear. The real you just might be a villain after all.
I wouldn't say that. Maybe a little cunning, but not by much.
Even your vocabulary is way better than usual. What the hell? Just how much were you pretending before?
Honestly, I can't say. That's something I'm going to have to figure out for myself, starting from now. Just how much of what I've been doing so far has been the real me. It'll be interesting to find it, but also really scary. I don't even know what comes natural to me anymore, so it's not like I can rely on that for clues. I guess it's going to be as much of a surprise to me as it will be to everyone else. And hopefully, I might have Rutherford-san by my side while I figure it out. Now I'm being too optimistic. I haven't talked to him in over a week. I don't even know if he hates me now. I shouldn't get so far ahead of myself.
I'm back. Ah, Aki-kun, welcome back. We were wondering where you'd gone. Sorry, Mom really did talk my ears off. She was speaking so high I couldn't even tell what she was saying half the time. Guess she was really excited. My ears hurt, though. Wait. Shoichi, your eyes are really red. Oh, yeah, I might have cried a little bit at the news. Even I get emotional sometimes, you know. You okay? Oh, yeah, for sure. Better than I felt in ages, actually. Really? Because Nichan is getting discharged? Among other things. What does that mean? You don't have to worry about that. The important thing is that I'm feeling relieved right now.
Wow. Shoichi-san might be a terrible liar, but he's great at avoiding the subject. That was some A-grade redirection skills.
We all are. Mom was howling over the phone.
I bet you don't mean that literally. Judging from his face, I don't think there are many other options left.
That reminds me.
We should probably let Saya and Keisuke-san know about this. Aren't you guys getting a little ahead of yourselves?
What do you mean?
You said that the doctors mentioned that there being a chance of Rutherford-san being discharged today, not that it was a done deal. Don't you think it's a bit early to be calling everyone and to tell them?
Oh, right, I see your point. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yet you still called your mother.
Someone has to drive him home if he gets discharged, don't they? You don't expect him to up and walk home, do you?
Okay, you got me there. He's up on a Maki-kun. That was a bit harsh.
Right. Sorry I snapped.
It's the first time I've ever heard Akiyoshi-kun snap like that. And at me. I'll try to be more careful around him. He's probably way stressed out lately. And again, I don't think there's a single one of us that isn't stressed out. How long should it be until we get discharged?
Shouldn't be too long. They said an hour to an hour and a half for the test. It's already been a solid 10 minutes. This isn't going to be an easy wait, is it? It's not.
I don't want to run into the exam room already. That's how anxious and excited I am. Rutherford-san, I want to see you. Oh boy, an hour later, we're in the room. A few minutes after we'd settled into our chat by the corridor, one of the nurses appeared and asked us to wait inside the room until the results arrived. It seemed that regardless of getting discharged or not, Rutherford-san... Why is this just a... This is a tuned-down version of a song that is in the game. Listen to this. Yeah, that's we've heard that song before, but in a different key. What the hell? It seemed that regardless of getting discharged or not, Rutherford-san had decided he was ready to have visitors, so there was no problem in us waiting for him in the room. We watched for a bit as the nurses tidied up the room, changed the sheets, the pillows, everything. They left the room completely spotless. So, with nothing better to do while waiting, we sat by the chairs in the room and talked. They brought 2 more chairs into the room so that all 3 of us could sit and wait, talking through everything. Akiyoshi-kun told us a little bit about what the past week was like. He'd been very secretive the whole time until now, apparently under Rutherford-san's orders. Seems Rutherford-san really didn't want us to hear much about what his situation was like so far. He was really down at first, but his mood started to improve little by little. Though.
So, would you say that he's doing well now? Physically? Sure. He can't really move his knee yet, so he can't walk, but the swelling has been going down and the incisions are healing nicely. Mentally, though, he's been cheering up a bit. He can smile now, but it's pretty obvious that he's still pretty broken up about it. Then again, there's no way that he wouldn't be, right? How can something that devastating happen to you and just go on like it was nothing? That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Hearing them talk like this, it's hard to keep those same feelings of guilt and self-hatred from surfacing. But at the same time, I know they'd have none of it. If I tried bringing it up, they'd shut me down before I could even finish a sentence. Tough love. It's very much still love, but it's also very much still tough. It's a bitter pill to swallow. Though I'm sure my situation is still much, much easier to deal with than Rutherford-san's by comparison. There's no way I can even begin to compare my suffering to his. Maybe 7 years ago, when I first found out about my heart condition, or last year when I was told to stop playing the piano entirely. But now, broken dreams, I'm not saying that word, guilt any day of the week. And I know exactly what Rutherford-san would say if he could hear my thoughts right now. He'd make some snarky comment about the misery Olympics and would tell me to stop moping about it. Please, God, get your shit out of the microwave. It's been beeping this entire fucking time. Hey! Get your shit out of the microwave! Get out of here! Go! 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 Ah! Even just picturing him saying it in my head already cheers me up a bit. Really, just thinking about Rutherford-san in general already gets me in a better mood.
Oh man, looks like someone is completely spacing out and away from our conversation, Jun-kun.
Huh?
That goofy smile on your face. Here we are talking about something really heavy, and you're smiling like a schoolgirl talking to her crush.
What? No way, I wasn't doing that.
Trust me, dude, I've made the same look tons of times before. I can recognize it when I see it. You did? I wasn't aware you liked someone, Shoichi. I'll tell you about it later. Now is really not the time.
Akiyoshi-kun nodded, surprisingly agreeable to that. Really? I would have thought you'd be more curious about it. You let it go really easily.
So, stuck thinking about Rutherford now.
Shuichi-san! I looked at Akiyoshi-kun, feeling embarrassed to have Shuichi-san speak so brazenly in front of him.
What are you guys getting all embarrassed in front of me for? Like I don't know about it already. I even gave you advice before, remember? Whoa, back up here. You gave Jun-kun advice? What? Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. Anyone could tell from a mile away that those two like each other but can't spit it out. Or in Nichan's case, even notice. So I told him, I said, you're not going to get anywhere about being subtle. You need to be way more direct.
Yep, and then failed confession happened.
Wow, you actually did it? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I got silence as an answer. Felt good. Definitely recommend it.
Seriously? Silence? Come on, Nichan, I can't even defend you like that.
It's okay. Rutherford's son talked to me later. Told me he was still trying to make sense of himself, so he'd never thought about it before. I could tell that he was turning around recently. I thought for sure that things were finally going somewhere during a little date. It felt like he was about to confess back to me before. Well, now is probably a really bad time for me to be trying to advance our relationship.
Maybe give him a few days. Who knows? He's gonna need to lean on someone for support even more now than he did before. That might work out in your favor.
Wouldn't that be taking advantage of the situation, especially when he's so vulnerable?
I don't see the harm. I mean, we all already know he likes you anyway. What's a little push? You get there eventually, with or without it.
Akiyoshi-kun, you're very mature at some things, but you really do still have a child's understanding of relationships. And that's coming from me. Yeah, sure. Guess it makes sense.
You don't actually mean that, do you?
Who knows? Obviously don't agree with that, but I know better than to try and argue with Akiyoshi-kun about it. He's still too young to be getting lectured in this sort of thing. Plus, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of getting snapped at again.
Excuse me, I'm bringing hate from the wall.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Or I snap to the doorway right away once a knock comes from it. Before we even have time to prepare for it, the nurse wheels in Rutherford-san Rutherford-san into the room, smiling widely at our reactions. For his part, Rutherford-san looks at the three of us, smiling awkwardly in our direction. Just seeing that smile is... Oh man, look at Shoichi. Shoichi is fucking heartbroken. Holy Christ.
Rutherford.
Shoichi-san slowly walks up to Rutherford-san, looking down at him with tears in his eyes. Hey, been a while. Were you worried about me?
Of course we were, you idiot!
Dropping to his knees, Shoichi-san wrapped Rutherford-san in a tight hug, quietly sobbing with his head buried in the Shiba's chest. For his part, Rutherford-san maintained the same awkward smile, patting the bigger husky on the back. I'm sorry for making you guys worry. I needed some time for myself. Should I go up to him? How would I even go about doing that? Even if I tried to, I can't help but feel guilty. Does Rutherford-san even want me around? I don't know that, and until now, until I know I can't make the first move. Instead, I stand around, awkwardly grabbing and squeezing my left elbow. Jun? Oh, Jesus. Hearing Rutherford-san's call my name feels like having electricity suddenly going through my body, shocking me back into reality. Recognizing that his time with him was over, Shoichi-san promptly got back on his feet and walked away. Rutherford-san raised a hand in the air, gesturing for me to come closer. I walked, hesitantly at first, taking slowly steps towards him. Would he hit me, chastise me, tell me to get out? I hate not knowing. What the fuck? Can you do what Shoichi did and get on your knee? What the hell? Where the hell is this going? Okay. I'll do as he says. Right now I have no right to against him. I need to do whatever he wants me to do. I close my eyes, expecting some sort of punishment. Instead, I'm sorry. Aki told me how worried and guilty you've been feeling this entire time. I should have talked to you sooner. Oh, you're a really good guy, Jun. Thank you so much for worrying about me this entire time. But also, I'm sorry for making you worry. Thank you for keeping me in your thoughts. Oh, God, he's crying. I'm saying I'm sorry. Oh, man. There on my knees with Rutherford's petting me and running his hand through my fur, I break down into tears. There's nothing for you to be sorry about. It was an accident. I don't want you feeling guilty for any of it. Got it? Yeah. For the next 5 minutes, all I could hear was the sound of my own quiet sobbing. Rutherford's continued to pet and comfort me the entire time. Even though he's the one that's been hurt, even though he's the one that's been suffering the most, Rutherford's continues to take care of me and care for me despite everything. That alone was probably the least piece? What? Last piece required for me to be saved from this overwhelming sense of guilt I've been holding on to. Even though something irreplaceable has been lost, no one has seen fit to blame me. Maybe I'm not a monster after all. Wow. The perspective has changed. On that last line from Jun, maybe I'm not a monster after all. That's a big step, man. I've been to that place. I don't know that I've ever gotten out of it. But now we're back to being Rutherford-san. Welcome back to the main character's perspective.